After you sack the rook and you found it! After you sack the rook, queen takes, you get the rook, and you are just up a clean knight. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff, bro. Alrighty, Supra, what is going on, homie? So we're going to be reviewing your 3 games that you sent me to Tier 1 this week. And we do these reviews once a week. And if you join my Tier 1 section in the Discord server, which is $10 a month, you can get these reviews. I believe it's up to 3 as it stands, and I'll review them once a week on stream. You get a Chess Dojo class, which is essentially like a classroom where I send a video of some tactic training in chess, some opening prep, and a couple other things in there. And then we also have an elite chess club where players that are actually trying to improve at chess can join, hop in, and share a space with like-minded individuals who are trying to improve their chess. So if that sounds like something you'd like and something that you believe could help you, I highly recommend you check it out. Link's going to be in the description down below. All right, so with that being said, Supra, let's get into your review. So in this game, you played an 86.5% accurate game. You had 1 great move, 19 best moves, 8 excellent moves, 11 good moves, 1 book move, 4 inaccuracies, and 1 single mistake. And you played this game like an 1850 ELO player. Very impressive. So let's get right into it. So in this game, your opponent opened with c4. You played e5. Knight c3. Bishop c5. All right, so this is an English opening reverse Sicilian variation. So better move would have been apparently to play knight f6, bishop b4, or knight c6. But honestly, I don't hate this. Get the bishop out there and start get your development. Plus, you can eventually push this pawn and get this bishop in the game too. So the knight slides there. You go d6, and personally, I don't mind this move. I feel like a better move would have maybe been playing knight to a6, because when you push this pawn, as soon as the knight takes, your structure gets a little damaged, but it's not the end of the world. So you take back. So we got d3 on the board, and it looks like your opponent's trying to get their bishop in the game. Can't go there obviously yet because the queen would just take. Probably going to move that knight there eventually. So knight f6. Then we have e4. Opponent strikes at the middle. Castles. Good. Protect that king. Bishop e2. Knight c6. Knight f3. Knight d4. And apparently this is an inaccuracy because after knight takes on e5, if c takes, your opponent apparently just has more space. But I don't hate this move. It honestly makes sense to me. If he were to take the knight there, it probably would have been better to take here, because if you take with this pawn can push and cause problems. So you slide the queen up for the defense of that pawn. Also, is that... Oh, and you also just straight up hung a pawn here. Knight takes e5. Oh, okay, I got it backwards there. Yeah, that was just a straight up hung pawn. Okay, that makes more sense. So you slide the queen up, defending the pawn. Good job spotting it on the second go. Good job taking with this pawn too, because like I said, this pawn can also push. So you take here, and then you go bishop g5, and you're doing very well with clock management too. So h6, attack that bishop. Bishop slides back. Queen b4 check. And it says this is an inaccuracy because you kind of lose a little bit of a tempo here. Because, I mean, the queen's probably going to block here. And then after you take, the king is, like, off that back rank. And, yes, he's not able to castle, but now the rooks are coordinated and touching each other. So you don't... that sounded weird. Coordinated and in sync with each other is a better word. So bishop e6. I honestly don't hate that move either. I think that move's fine. Probably a very advanced tactic there, probably. So c5, g4, knight d7, bishop g3, sliding back to attack this pawn here. f6, f4. And that move's good because he's forcing an initiative here. And if you take here, the bishop gets activated and takes over a bunch of squares. Ooh, and then when you don't take, pawn pushes, and now your bishop has to slide back, and it's getting very claustrophobic very fast. So bishop f7, h4, b5, b3, b takes c4, d takes c4, g6. All right, and in this spot particularly, I would try and use a little bit more time. You did take some time on this move, so proud of you. I honestly don't hate that move. I see what you're thinking here. You're trying to clear out a little bit of space here, get the bishop here, create some threats. But in these spots where it gets very, very tricky, I highly recommend if you're playing in a rapid time control to use a little bit more time here for sure. So on that move, you used a lot of time and found the best move. Very proud of that move. That excellent move, excellent move. Forcing initiative, you don't even have to worry about this yet. So he takes. You take back. Now the pawn pushes. And now it's all closed up. You have an advantage here now because everything is just completely closed up now. So nicely done. So the bishop back to h7. Apparently a better move was bishop f7. To eventually get here probably. Although I don't really see why that move would be bad. I mean, it says it's a good move, but still. All right, so you slide the rook over to defend that pawn. A better move would have been to play a4 for the attack here, because if takes, I think you can just slide your rook over. Oh no, hey, you just slide your rook over, and if he brings his rook down here, you could probably just defend. So you go here, pushes the pawn, slide the king up, bishop slides over to f3, rook slides up to b7, king slides back to c2. Now you double the rooks. Honestly, do not mind that at all. I think that's stellar. And I have no idea what this move does, because this pawn's forever going to be covered. Maybe he's trying to create a X-ray vision of sorts, but it doesn't really do much. So knight f8, sliding the knight back. Ooh, I like that. Rotating. Excellent, excellent, excellent. It is okay to move the knight backwards. Perfection. To a T. Excellent, excellent move there, sir. Bishop h4. And now after this, if you take here, rook takes, take here, double attack. And that's what you do. But instead of him taking the knight, he just slides the bishop back, and so you win a free rook. Excellent. Phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal. And then you get the bishop, and then from here it's just clean up. And your opponent resigns. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff, bro. But yeah, note to you, in these tricky positions, I think it goes back here, definitely use a little bit more time here. Because your opponent could have played g5, and things get very confusing very fast. Because if you take with this pawn, he takes, and now this entire file opens, and that's kind of spooky. Obviously, you can probably still just slide the king up, but still, it gets a little very tricky very fast. If you slide the king up, oh, apparently that's actually a bad move. You need to take on g5, and then if takes, yeah, and then you're winning. Cool. Awesome. But hey, man, great first game. So let's go ahead and head over to your second game. In this game, you played an 89.9% accurate game. 9 best moves, 3 excellent moves, 4 good moves, and 2 book moves. You had no inaccuracies, no mistakes, no misses, and no blunders. And you played like a 1950. Oh, I'm excited for this one, bro. All right, let's get into it. So you played d4, d5, c4, c5. And honestly, me personally, I absolutely hate this. This is a Queen's Gambit declined Austrian variation. Push the pawn, knight jumps up, and then your opponent plays f6. And this is a bad move because of e3. And if takes, take the queen, takes, I think, right? And you just get development, and this pawn's just defended. Yeah, okay, cool. So, and also it's just a free pawn. You found the precise, bro. Precision at its finest. So knight jumps over to b5. King slides over to d8. Bishop e3. And I always preach this. This honestly isn't a very bad move because you're defending this pawn. But you want to be careful to not block your pawns in. Because when you move your bishop up here, your pawn kind of just gets derailed. A better move would have probably been to play... Is b4 an option? No, because of a5. I want you to play... So, the top engine move would have been to play bishop e3. Oh, that was the top engine move? Huh. Alright, well... Yeah, in this case, it's a good move for sure. But in hindsight, just keep that in mind. So the knight moves over to d6. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. Now it jumps up to c6. Good job developing the knight. And you have so much initiative on top of being up 2 pieces of material. 2 pawns. So bishop comes down to attack the pawn. Good job defending. And you are putting on an absolute clinic using very minimal time. So king d7, castles, g5, bishop c5, which is not an inaccuracy, but not the best move. Better move would have been to play knight a4, apparently, which is a tricky find. So I want you to go here and try and get a fork here. Bishop c5, b6, attacking the bishop. Bishop slides back all the way. Nice, because if you want to hook on here, your opponent would have pushed the pawn, and he would have gotten a little bit of an initiative there. Knight h6, knight e4, rook fe8, c5, he takes c5, knight takes c5, and your opponent resigned in this position because his only move is to go here, here, or here. And as soon as he slides back to that other rank, if he goes here, you take here and it's a fork. And anywhere else he goes, like say he goes here, you just take here and you just up a bishop and you have 5 pieces of material. Nice. And then eventually you could have a discovered attack too, potentially, if he didn't move this rook. Nicely done, bro. Very nicely done. I think your only mess up here was what? I don't even think you had a mess up. You played that perfectly, bro. Very, very, very nicely done. Hello, Jack444. Doing good. How are you? Doing a review right now. Excellent stuff, bro. All right, let's jump into your final game here. So in this game, you played a 1750, or excuse me, you played an 81.1% accurate game. You had 1 brilliant move, 2 great moves, 13 best moves, 6 excellent moves, 13 good moves, 1 book move, 2 inaccuracies, 1 mistake, 1 miss, 1 blunder. And you played this game like a 1750, and your opponent played like a 1400. Let's get into it. So your opponent opens the game with knight of 3. You go c5, a3, e6. Better. I feel like you could have just taken the center here. Yeah, d5's top engine move. I don't even understand what that does. But you play here. I honestly don't hate it. Get the bishop in the game. Although, you are going to have to push this pawn. And with doing that, when you do push that pawn, your bishop can't get out. So you'd probably have to play something like b6 and then fianchetto it. So b6. Now develops to c3 for your opponent. Bishop b7. Excellent. Excellent stuff. And that's exactly what you did. Fianchetto. Now you have a forever x-ray coming down this diagonal. d3. Knight of 6. Perfection. Good development. Your opponent plays e4. Bishop c6. I don't really understand what that move does exactly. Because when you play here, you block your knight from developing to this square. I think the best move would have been, yeah, d5 is the top engine move. So you go here. Bishop g5. Attack the bishop. Bishop slides back. And I think you could have played bishop e7. Yeah. Because now you create an opportunity for you to castle while simultaneously removing the bishop from pinning your queen. Oh, it was a misclick. Okay. Heard. Honestly, I don't hate that move either. I think that move's fine. Get the bishop out. All right, so you slide the bishop up to g7. Now it moves into e5. And you push the pawn. Good move. Best move on the board. Then we got knight takes on c6. Knight takes on c6. Bishop e2. Castles, castles. Very, very even position as it stands. So you definitely have a lot more initiative as it stands, in my opinion. I mean, this bishop is pretty potent because it's creating a X-ray vision coming down this entire diagonal. And I imagine your opponent can eventually start, maybe move this knight somewhere. Maybe get the bishop here. Create X-ray vision. So you move the knight to d4. This knight's very, very powerful now. Controlling so many squares. You can ever get a knight past the center line, which in black's case, it would be just past the f-file. While being covered by a pawn, very, very powerful. And if you think about it too, it's more effective long-term to make sure your opponent has more things to think about. Because A, they use a little bit more time. B, they have less things they can do as far as development, whatever it may be, and just more stuff to think about. And it creates more opportunities for them to make the mistake or the blunder. So knight a2. And you move that knight to try and get the pawn here, it appears. So you push the pawn up. Now he attacks your knight. You take the bishop. I don't hate it. It says a better move would have been to go to c6. Oh, wait, oops. c6. Nice c6. Oh, here. So you take. I also don't hate it. So rook e8. Queen c2. d5. Rook 81. d4. Takes. Knight c1. Knight slides back. Knight e2. It's a deadlocked position here as it stands. I feel like this is a potential move you could play. Although you probably want to keep this bishop on the board. Because like I said earlier, this bishop's controlling this entire diagonal. And me personally, I probably want to get that out. Although, if you do that, he could push the pawn here. And that could create some problems. So maybe don't do that. So you go knight e5. Yeah, and he does exactly that. So a better move here would have been to play rook c8. Create a X-ray vision on the queen. Or queen e7. Or b5. Because the knight still covers. So you move the knight here. Strikes, takes. You move the knight back. And this is a mistake or an inaccuracy because knight h5, attacking the bishop, and controlling some more squares. And like I said, this bishop is very powerful. Can we go knight takes on g4? Oh, and he finds the best move. So you move the bishop up. Takes. Then the queen slides over to e2, which is a mistake. Queen slides up. The better move would have been to play queen g5. Coming in here. Then after the knight moves, so the knight has to move. Oh, maybe not, because the queen still covers. What, can you play here? No, because then takes. Alright. And then your opponent just straight up blunders a piece. Because after you sack the rook and you found it! After you sack the rook, queen takes, you get the rook, and you are just up a clean knight. Excellent stuff, bro. That was phenomenal. That was great find there. How much time did you use? Rook goes here. You found that in less than 20 seconds. A little over 20 seconds. But still, bro. Excellent find there. Queen takes. You just slide the queen back. And at this point, you're trying to... Ooh! Maybe use a little bit more time there. That's a pretty tricky tactic to find there, but just gotta keep an eye on that. But your opponent misses it. And you're essentially in the green right now. And it looks like he played that move pretty fast. Yeah, he played that move in 9 seconds. It looks like he's trying to flag you, which flagging isn't a real thing in Rapid. I'm sorry, but when you try to flag in Rapid, I don't like, bro. Come on. 95, like, play the game how it's supposed to be played. Excellent stuff. Blocking with the queen. Then you bring the queen up to attack the rook. Ooh. And that was the first move I initially thought too. Rook f8. But apparently queen f7's better. Takes. I mean, you lose a pawn, but you're still up. You're still up a clean piece. Well, you're up one piece because you lost 2 pawns, but still. So I don't hate that move. So queen slides there. You take the pawn. And they just straight up blundered the rook. Or did they? Sliding the rook up, bro. This is awesome. I'm loving this game, bro. King slides down. Rook here. Queen slides down with check. And you move the king up. Very nicely done. Because if you would have gone here, they would have had more checking opportunities. Although when you do go up here, then still. Rook takes on f6. And you find the best move. Because after here, king's only move is here or here. And after that happens, checkmate. Awesome stuff. Very well done, Super. I'm proud of you. The only blunder in this one was, what? Rook, or no. f6. That was the only chance your opponent had to revive the game. Creating a fork. But other than that, bro, excellent stuff. Alrighty, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend you check out a video on this side of my screen, which will be popping up here momentarily. It's a very, very awesome video, and if you enjoy chess, I think you'll find it very, very helpful. Also, we have a Discord server where we do game reviews just like this. We have chess tournaments, daily chess puzzles, or not even chess puzzles. We do daily checkmates because checkmates are more fun than puzzles, in my opinion, because everybody does daily puzzles. We do daily checkmates in our server. And a chess dojo, and a bunch of other cool stuff to help you improve at chess. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy and something that you think could be helpful for you, I highly recommend you check it out. The link is going to be in the description down below, and all you got to do is click that and hop in. And also, if you want to get your games reviewed like this, as you can see on screen, this is our Tier 1 game reviews screen. And to access Tier 1, it's $10 a month, and you can sign up through my Discord server. And every week you'll get 3 game reviews that I will review on stream and record and post them in the server for you to watch, and go into in full detail on how you can improve your game based on the level of play, or based on the play that you provide me with in each and every single game that you send. So if you want to do that, I think it'd be very, very helpful for you, and it would really, really help you improve. And if you do Tier 1 too, like I said, you get the chess dojo as well. I post 3 dojos a week, and we have a system in there too where a video gets posted for 48 hours and then it gets deleted to make sure people aren't procrastinating, because if you want to get better at chess, you have to be consistent and you have to stick with it. So if you want to do that, I highly recommend you check it out. And we also have the free side. All you gotta do is click that link in the description, hop in, and you're in the free side too. And like I said, everything else besides those things that I just mentioned are all completely free. Once again, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and tell me what your ELO is. Tell me what your favorite time control is, whatever it may be. I want to know. I would love to hear it. And if you enjoy chess content, don't forget to subscribe. Alrighty, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace.